All right. Good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Oh, whoops. Do that. All right. Tonight, we are getting into a Wandavision episode 8. This is big. This is a big one. Because this is obviously, next episode is the last. These last couple of episodes have been 45 minutes each. So I'm really excited to see what happens with the very last episode. But tonight we're going to kind of unpack tonight's episode or last night's episode and see what maybe is in the future. So welcome to Redeeming Bad Movies, our live session talking about WandaVision episode 8. And if you're joining us with replay, then welcome. You can always hit me up on live when I go live, and so you can just visit the channel and get a reminder on when we're going live. But for everyone else out there, let's get into this, man. All right, so we have WandaVision episode 8. Obviously, the end of episode 7 gave us the big reveal of Agatha Harkness. That was a big one. And now it's just further into that, right? I am really excited for the fact that now it's quite possible that Marvel has introduced mutants into the MCU. That's a big one. Everybody has been wondering how they were going to do it. It looks like this might be the way, but they may not, right? They may not even call her a mutant. They may just say she just always has this. I know that Agatha was talking about chaos magic, right? Hey, you're using chaos magic, and then, boom, if you haven't seen the episode, I'm going to drop some huge spoilers right now. The very last part is when Agatha Harkness calls Wanda the Scarlet Witch. Boom! I watched a Screen Rant video earlier talking about just a ton of Easter eggs that were in here, and one of the things that they talked about was it's possible that they might try to make Wanda kind of the whole Dark Phoenix thing, right? Fox tried to do the Dark Phoenix twice, and both of them just were very lackluster. Marvel seems to kind of be accidentally doing a Dark Phoenix and knocking it out of the park with Wanda. She could be this entity that has this magic that she just doesn't understand. She's not even aware that she has it. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Agatha, of course, studies all these years. Is there some kind of jealousy, maybe, that this is going on? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I think at first, anyway, right? I think there is some jealousy. In the comic books, Agatha actually shows Wanda how to use her powers. So I wonder if this isn't going to be kind of the start of a relationship, right? Agatha slowly starts teaching her how to use her magic, which I think is only going to make Wanda even stronger. But in talking about magic, who's the other Marvel character that we know uses magic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Doctor Strange, of course. We know that Doctor Strange 2 is coming out, and it's Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So there we go. There's the multiverse, right? It's something that we kind of already know, but now for real we've got. So I just wonder how much... I don't know. I wonder how much is actually going to be done now, or I wonder how much is going to be done now, or is they're going to wait for Doctor Strange 2. They could even wait for Ant-Man 3, right? Because they've got Ant-Man 3. It's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania, where we already know that the big bad is going to be Kang the Conqueror, who one of my favorite characters. I love Kang. His first appearance was in Avengers number 8. He's just a really awesome character. Very similar to Doctor Doom, except probably smarter, which is crazy to even think about that. There's parts in storylines where Kang actually fights himself so that he doesn't win, because he knows, oh crap, if I defeat the Avengers here, then something bad is going to happen. So I need to wait. It's kind of a silly thing, but still, I love Kang. He's just a wonderful, wonderful character. In talking about Kang, with him being cast as the big bad villain in Ant-Man 3, I wonder if this is like he's going to be residing in the quantum realm, and how much of the quantum realm are they really going to explore? So anyone who knows me, and I'm going to say it now for the people that are watching and for the people that are replaying, Quasar is my favorite comic book character ever, right? And he gets his powers from the quantum bands, and they pull their energy from the quantum realm. So obviously, I'm very excited about Quantum Mania. Are we going to get introduced to Quasar? There was a tweet. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. There was a tweet. You know what? You can come on with me, right? There was a tweet a long time ago. Let's see. We're going to go site twitter.com, and we're looking for. Well, you know what? We don't even need to do that. We can just look up James Gunn Twitter, right? James Gunn Twitter. So James Gunn is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He is also directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There's a tweet that he did. Let's see. Search James Gunn Quasar. Let's see if we can find it. Boom! Here it is, right here. So James Gunn put this out. This was a long time ago. This was June 12th, 2017. All right? This is what he says. For some reason, I'm just remembering now that as a kid, my family's VCR had wood paneling. Look what brand of VCR that is. I'm going to blow it up. Quasar. You don't just pull a stock photo of an old VCR with a brand Quasar if you're not intending there to be something else, right? So that is pretty big. So I'm very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, is this the first time we're going to see Quasar? Maybe, maybe not. We do know that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is filming this year. It's going to start filming this year. So that's big, right? Especially for a huge Quasar fan. But we're getting off topic. Back to WandaVision. Okay. So there's a ton of stuff going on here. If you watch the episode, then you know Wanda goes down into Agatha Harkness's basement, right? Where Agatha talks about, hey, there's this basic kind of protection spell going on. There's this basic protection spell with all these runes that are all over the room, and she's just baffled. Like, how do you not know this? That right there is... So that's Agatha's suspicion, right? That Wanda doesn't really know what she's doing. But she takes her through these little memories, and all of the memories have just a lot of unpacking of Wanda and Pietro's life, right? Mainly Wanda, because that's who we're here for. So, the part where the bomb goes off and, her parents are subsequently killed and they're trapped under their bed. The bomb did not go off. Now we kind of see that it was probably her hex power that did that stopped that bomb. She altered probabilities to where the bomb didn't go off. So later on in the episode, when the Mind Stone, because you have to remember the Infinity Stones in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they are sentient. So they have a mind of their own. They will do, well, pretty much whatever they want. So it chose to expose itself to her. Now, the researchers never saw any of this. The video footage is wiped. They're blinded from something happening. Video footage wiped, so they don't even know. Wanda was the only one to know until, of course, Agatha got to see it. So that's, we're talking, she now is infused with the power of an Infinity Stone. The other character that we know was infused with power of an Infinity Stone, Captain Marvel, right? And we saw how powerful she's, regarded as. So now we know, okay, Wanda is very, very powerful. And if she's the Scarlet Witch, did it choose her because she was the Scarlet Witch? Like, it sensed, because if you remember in that scene, when she comes in, it's that costume. So when she dressed like that in the Halloween episode, was that a kind of recurrent, or not a recurring, was that like a what's the word I'm looking for? Repressed. Was that like a repressed memory that just, it's coming out, and she's slowly waking up? Because now we know that Agatha has been trying to wake her up, right? Been trying to get her out of this grief. Now, one thing that we also know is that she had that deed of land to this lot, right? And it's from there that she bursts full of energy and starts building this house. But was that deed left to her by Vision? It has a heart with, it says to grow old in V. Now we can kind of go back to the first episode with the heart on the calendar. And now we can say that was probably another repressed memory that she had. And that's what that heart meant. It was that heart on the deed. So now we know why she's in Westview. One of the things we don't know is way back in episode 4, I think it was, Jimmy Woo, the FBI agent who kind of teams up with Darcy and Monica Rambeau, he talks about like an informant that he has in Westview. So who's this informant? Like, we don't know who that person is. So there's still a lot of story to be told. We've got one episode. I don't think they're going to answer all of these questions. I think that it's kind of going to... it's just left for us to wonder, right? Agatha comes there because she says she's detected all of this magic, right? So if she detects it, then Doctor Strange has to detect it too. So I'm wondering if they're going to give him a cameo appearance in that last episode, or just no, and just expect us as viewers to know, oh yeah, he's, that's what he does, right? He is, he is the thing. Man, my camera doesn't seem to be doing great, does it? Let me look real quick. I'm sorry. No, it's been put out. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail there. I don't know if they're going to bring Doctor Strange in. That's what I was saying. All right. So one of the other things that Agatha has, right? I'm not going to pull it up on this stream. I don't want to get sued by Disney. So one of the things that Agatha has is she has that book, right? In fact, let's see if we can find that book. Come along with me, right? Let's see. Agatha Harkness book. Here we go. All right. So, we have a lot of stuff. So, basically, Agatha Hart. Okay. Anyway, it's not really going to. I'm not going to sit here and look for it, but I think that book is kind of like maybe a key to possibly who's controlling Agatha, right? Because if you remember in, I think it was the first episode, when she convinces Wanda that it might be their wedding anniversary, she says in that, Ralph, my husband, he wouldn't know if it's their anniversary unless there was a beer that was named like June 2nd, right? Well, if we go back to this episode at the very beginning, it was June 2nd, I think, 1692, that it was showing June 2nd, 1692, that she was at the stake, right? And all the other magicians, all the other witches were basically trying to, I don't know if they were trying to contain her or control her, but if you remember when they were shooting their blue magic into her, that blue magic turned into purple magic. So my kind of thinking on there is maybe she's being given some of this purple magic, possibly from Mephisto, maybe even Nightmare. Mephisto is kind of Marvel's version of the devil. Nightmare is, well, let me see. Nightmare plays a big role in that. Let's see if we can find it. Nightmare is Nightmare Marvel Comics. Boom, here we go. Nightmare, fictional supervillain that appeared in American comic books published by Marvel. Blah, blah, blah. Characters depicted most commonly as one of Doctor Strange's and Ghost Rider's major enemies. Nightmare is the ruler of the dream dimension, and he is one of the Fear Lords. Okay, so right there, he is a part of the dream dimension. Now, could any of this stuff be misconstrued as being maybe part of the, like Wanda being in here? Maybe it's kind of like a dream, and so that would lend credence to it being Nightmare. Now, there are some who still think Hayward is is pulling some kind of strings here. I don't know, right? I think that if Hayward is anybody, he's probably Mephisto. And maybe he can only control somebody, and maybe that's why he hasn't, really brought. But he's been laying little Easter eggs, right? Oh, we also found out that he's a liar on top of that, because remember he tells everybody that she broke into Sword Facilities and took Vision's body. Well, now we find out that's not even true, right? She kind of puts her hand on it, says, "I can't feel you," but there's, I think it's Age of Ultron, maybe, when she is no, it's not Age of Ultron. It's not Age of Ultron. It's it might be Civil War, in when she kind of feels up on Vision's forehead and says, "I can feel you." Well, it's kind of a nod to that, because she says here, "I can't feel you," and then she leaves, and she's just struck with that grief, right? So I think that's going to play some kind of part in here, because now we have Vision being that white android with a clean slate, just like what happened to him in the comic books. Now, the Vision that we have now cannot escape the hex, right? So he can't escape that hexagon, right? If he leaves it, then poof, he just ceases to exist. Now we know why, because Wanda created him. And so he just exists inside her reality, right? Now, what if there's some type of fight, or I say fight, I don't know what it would be, but Wanda's vision and Hayward's vision come together, and Wanda's vision, obviously being the one who grasps stuff better, he's very inquisitive, he is able to take control of that body. So that's kind of my theory on how we get Vision back, because the body is now put back together, and it's almost like Wanda created, for lack of a better word, his soul, even though it came out of the Mind Stone, so it's more like created his mind. And so we saw when he got created, her red power, was emanating out, but then it was the yellow power that was putting him together. So I think that there was something with the Mind Stone that was actually putting him together. And so he is kind of possibly maybe a personification of the Mind Stone, or at least a fraction of it. And he's going to be able to take over this Vision's body, because he's the mind. And that's going to be the thing, right? Our brain controls our body. And so it's going to be kind of that same thing. He's the mind. That white Vision is a shell. And then boom, the mind can take over the body. That's my theory on what's going to happen and how we get Vision back. Yeah, what like, do you have any theories? Because there's a lot of stuff going on, just banging around in my mind of stuff I can just blah 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 talk about this episode, and I will if nobody's got any questions, I will keep marching forward. One of the things that I'm interested in seeing is if the kids stay alive, because Wanda created them. Agatha even acknowledges that. So can they exist outside of the hex? Will Agatha be able to teach Wanda enough magic to, or at least control the magic to keep them alive? Like, will she alter something? God, I'm still back on Jimmy Woo's informant. I wonder who it is. Who could it be? Well, there's I remember in one of the episodes, it might have been episode 2, Vision straight up outs one of them as a communist. I wonder if that is Jimmy Woo's contact. I bet you it is. I mean, why else would he drop it? I mean, I know that episode was kind of supposed to take place in the 50s, and you had kind of that whole McCarthyism stuff going on where they were on the hunt for communists. But I just wonder. Very well could be. I've heard rumors of them pitching a Jimmy Woo series, and it would be more... everybody knows Jimmy Woo, right? He's played by Randall Park. If you're unfamiliar with him, Jimmy Woo is... Let's pop him up for people that don't know who he is. Randall Park. There he is, right there. Bam. Oh, Randall Park. So that's Jimmy Woo, right? I think we might be able to pull this window over, kind of snap it here, kind of pull it down. Ooh. Yeah, we'll just leave it right there for now. I'll find something to put down. But so that's Randall Park. He plays Agent Jimmy Woo, and what they are actually talking about is they're going to pitch this show, and a lot of people, myself included, would love it to be kind of because, again, they own Fox, so they would own the rights to the X-Files. What if it was some type of like X-Files type show where Jimmy Woo and Darcy join forces, and they're like Mulder and Scully, right? Except, they're not in the FBI. I mean, Jimmy Woo's in the FBI, but Darcy could be like a consultant, and they could be chasing down things, and she's like the astrophysicist that helps him kind of solve things. I think that would be a really cool show. It would be a really fun show, right up Marvel's alley, right? Because that's kind of what they do, right? They create these kind of fun shows. So yeah, I think something like that could work. Going into, so if you remember at the end of episode 7, because this was episode 8, at the end of episode 7, Monica was going to go down into the basement, and then, boom, Pietro comes up, and he said, what did he say? Snooper's going to snoop. Now, we also now know that Pietro was Agatha's eyes and ears. So gone, I think, are the hopes that Peter or Pietro, that this was Quicksilver from like another universe. I think that we're kind of the assumption now that maybe that was Agatha that found Monica. And so, what's going to happen, right? Did Monica confront Agatha? Right now, all we see are Agatha and Wanda. Now, there may be some kind of thing that happens where Agatha's got the kids, Wanda comes up, and then Monica comes to help. That could definitely happen in episode 9. But we also know that episode 9, the last one coming out next Friday, is only, an hour long. So we got 45 minutes, right? Like, how much are they going to dump on us? Is this going to be the denouement, right? Are they going to just throw everything at us? Or Will some things kind of subsequently happen in some movies and we get those answers? I know that they announced that there probably was not going to be a season 2 of WandaVision. Are they going to try to tie it in and we get some answers in Falcon and Winter Soldier? I seriously doubt that happens. I don't think Black Widow's going to answer anything because, that movie takes place in the past, when Black Widow was still alive, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to throw at us and how much they're going to answer. Some of this stuff I think might just kind of answer itself. So, yeah, I mean, we might not need a lot of answers because they may just give it by answering other things. And I really think that all of the questions that I have, they probably just won't answer. I think that a lot of this stuff was probably just Easter eggs thrown in, and they just won't ever answer it because Agatha wears a brooch, the same brooch that she stole off the person we assumed to be her mom because she said mother in that. That brooch could be like the 3 crones. It could be because there's 3 women on the brooch. But we also know from Thor 2, The Dark World, that he consulted with like the 3 sisters, right? The 3 fates. So is Agatha one of them? Does she get her same magic from them? Is Wanda tapping into that kind of magic? I don't know. I don't know, right? I think that some of these questions are just never going to be answered. And I think we have to be okay with that, right? Just like we might not get answers for some of the stuff that happened in Endgame, one of the most famous lines, right? When Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, says, "I love you 3,000." So where did 3,000 come from, right? And I know a lot of people are trying to figure out, but I think it's just a line. I think it's just a line that he said. There is no deeper meaning. So what if some of this stuff is that, right? We now know what that brooch means to Agatha and why she carries it, but it may just be nothing beyond that. Right? It may just be a brooch that's sentimental to her. It might not mean anything beyond that. It also could be a focus of her power. Don't know. I don't know. My first theory was that when Wanda comes in and she sees the rabbit and she sees that fly on the wall or on the curtain in the end of episode 7, that was her kids. That Agatha had somehow controlled the kids and changed them. But then I kind of ruled that out whenever she controlled that fly and threw it at the rabbit and the rabbit ate it. That kind of went out the window. But now we see the kids are actually there. So are the kids Wanda's or are the kids a creation of Agatha? That I can't answer. I could answer. And you know what? I will go ahead and answer. I think it is Wanda's. I think Wanda created those kids. Which, again, like we talked about earlier, begs the question, are they going to continue to exist after the Hex goes down? Or is Wanda going to have to confront all of this and lose it again? So this is kind of my theory that I'm developing right on the spot. My theory is that she's going to have to give up the kids and they're going to go away. But she's going to gain vision. And so now we are led to believe that she will be able to have kids in the future with vision. That's my theory. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think giving up the kids is the last thing, right? It's the thing that's going to just nail her down and she's going to have so much grief, but then Vision shows up. And he's able to pull her back from that. In the comic books, there's a storyline called the House of M. And mutants are kind of persecuted in the they are heavily persecuted in the comic books. And Wanda just one day utters the line, "No more mutants." And just poof! She creates this reality of the entire world. And I don't even think she understood what she did. And so I think this story, it was supposed to be kind of like, hey, here we go. An early theory that I had was she was going to have so much grief, it was going to wash over the whole world. And maybe this happens, right? Maybe the kids, maybe her giving up the kids will cause that grief. But my theory was that it was going to wash over the whole world, and that was going to be the change that needed in order to like activate mutants, right? Because now we know that Monica got powers. That's been shown. There was, we theorized that happened back in was episode 5. When her scans came back and they couldn't read them, there was some kind of malfunction. So we theorized that she was slowly getting her powers. Monica Rambeau in the comics is Photon, right? Or Binary. I think she's gone by a couple of names. She went by Captain Marvel, but then gave up that name whenever Carol Danvers came back and assumed the name. Because Carol Danvers, in the comic books, Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel, right? And there was already a Captain Marvel, right? A Captain Marvel. He died of cancer. So there were a couple of different iterations, right? But Monica Rambeau assumed Captain Marvel, but then gave up the moniker to become Photon, and then I think ended up becoming Binary, right? Which is why we have that little Easter egg of her mom having the codename of Photon, right? I think that's kind of like an Easter egg thrown in there. I don't think she's... I had thought that in honor of her mom that she would actually take the name Photon, but now I'm kind of leaning towards that she won't. She'll choose Binary instead. But I think that... but anyway... She gave up the name Captain Marvel because Carol Danvers ends up assuming the moniker of Captain Marvel in honor of the old Captain Marvel that had died. And it was because Captain America and her had a talk, and he's like, oh, you need to take that responsibility. You need to lead. And so, boom, there it is. So is everybody still with me, right? Because this is kind of... Yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place, right? But I'm trying to get this stuff out there as it hits my head. Another one of the things that I wonder is if Agatha is being controlled, right? Because I think Agatha possibly might be controlled by either Nightmare or Mephisto. When I originally created this live, I named it Will They Introduce Mephisto? Obviously, they haven't yet, at least not in so many words, right? Again, I believe Hayward could be either Nightmare or Mephisto. A lot of stuff leaning towards Mephisto. And maybe he's trying to get her to use her powers because there's got to be something up with that book, right, that's over there. Because it was glowing with some energy, and we don't know anything about it. Again, are they going to bring Doctor Strange in? Is he going to come in? Because we now, I suspect that there's something going on with the, and I kind of got the idea from that Screen Rants video that I watched. You know what? Let me see if I can find that video, and then I'll link it in the chat. So I think that we now know that a lot of magic is done through shapes, right? So Wanda's magic is kind of hexagonal. We know that when Doctor Strange and then we're doing it, they were using shapes as well. What did I Screen Rants? Nope. Let's see. All right. We're just going to go to Screen Rants page. How about we do this? Screen Rant WandaVision. Okay. Maybe. Oh, you know what? It wasn't Screen Rant. It's Screen Crush, I think. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Boom. Let's get that link. Copy. All right. Let me get it to you. Here we go. If you want to watch it, right? If you want to watch it, you can. So that's the Screen Crush video. This guy delves into a lot of stuff. A lot of the theories, we had already. But, certainly he mentioned a lot of stuff that I just, kind of blew me away in the sense of, oh my God. Plus, he makes it kind of fun too. So you should give that a watch. Maybe stay here live first, but you can watch it at your leisure. What? But I really think that there's going to be something with Doctor Strange, right? There's too much magic going on for it not to happen. Now, we also know that the stuff going on has what has transpired has only transpired over the course of a few days. So, how long does it take? But if Agatha detected that kind of magic, then surely Doctor Strange detected it as well. And so maybe he's just monitoring, or maybe he's kind of looking at it in the sense, because, Strange, I think, is dealing with, is it going to break the universe? No? All right. We'll wait. So maybe he comes in after, the final, right? The final thing to happen, which, again, I think might be the loss of her kids. And if that happens, then, again, there's going to be, some big grief there. And, again, what I believe is that Vision will be able to kind of pull her back. So, yeah, that's kind of it, man. Unless anybody else has anything else, I kind of vomited out a lot of the stuff that I had in my head, and I'm sure I'll remember a bunch more stuff as it comes out, especially with Agatha. I think they're kind of blending a couple of different characters and just kind of making it fit in just that one character. So she might appear as evil now, or from our standpoint, she's kind of evil because we're following with Wanda, but maybe she's not evil. Maybe she's actually trying to find out, and maybe she's like, oh man, you're the Scarlet Witch, I'm gonna help you. I mean, it could happen, right? So yeah, I think that we've got a lot in store. I think episode 9 is going to be it's going to be huge, right? This is kind of similar to what they did with the MCU to begin with, right? We had we had Iron Man, and we had Iron Man 2, and you had Captain America, and you had Thor, and then we finally get Avengers, and then it just keeps building, and boom, 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 and then it all culminates in Infinity War, and something big happens, and then bam, we get Endgame. So this is kind of the Infinity War of WandaVision, and now, episode 9 will be Endgame, right? That's kind of how I'm comparing it, because it's the last one, so they have to wrap up a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to see what happens. I believe that there's a lot of stuff that's still to come, and they're going to have to fit so much in that 45-minute window that the pacing is just going to be crazy because they're going to have to kind of answer all of these stories. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where we're expecting these really big payoff, but it's just going to be this little thing, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. What if the whole Vision thing is not some epic battle? What if it's not Superman versus Superman in Superman 3, right? Or Superman versus Clark? What if it's just hey, we should, we're going to shake hands, and now we're going to, I'm going to transfer my conscious into you, and then boom, now I'm Vision. Or is it going to be some kind of Star Trek The Next Generation thing when Data sacrifices his life, but, they've got this other Data that kind of starts humming this tune that only Data knew. And so you're like, oh, snap, is this going to be, what happens, right? Are they going to be able to bring him back? So I don't know. I think because it's only 45 minutes, there's so much. We have to find the resolution with Darcy. We have to find the resolution with Vision. We have to find the resolution with Jimmy Woo. We have to find the resolution with Hayward, whatever he's doing. We have to find the resolution with Monica. We have to find the resolution between Agatha and Wanda. I mean, come on. What did I just name? I said Darcy, Jimmy, Vision, Wanda, Agatha, Hayward. I mean, there's 6 things. Now, some of those are going to overlap, of course, but I just wonder. I mean, it's so much. It's so much to try to unpack in that 45 minutes. So how much are they just going to kind of leave out and just, maybe it waits? Like, what if the whole Monica stuff, they just introduce us to that character, and a lot of that gets answered in Captain Marvel 2? What if they pull some strings here, and then they throw it into the Ant-Man movie? So they give us this little payoff, because it's not unbelievable that Jimmy Woo wouldn't appear in Ant-Man 3, right? So, I mean, they did a lot of character updates. Okay, one thing I did just want to mention real quick: Jimmy Woo. When we see him in Ant-Man 2, we see Paul Rudd's character. Who does he play again? Alan. Anyway, we see Scott Allen. So we see him doing magic, right? And Jimmy's like, "Oh my god!" And then later on in the movie, he's trying the magic tricks, and they're just not working. But then flash forward to when he meets Monica, and he does that magic trick and pulls that card. Boom. That's character development right there. We see that he took that magic and he finally got good at it, right? So I think that we're going to see more character. I mean, you brought him back enough, and I love Randall Park. He's just great, and I love Kat Dennings, as Darcy, and I would love to see them come back. Darcy, she got more character development in this series than she got in any of the Thor movies, which is a shame, but I'm very happy that she got the development. Same thing with Randall Park, right? And Jimmy Woo. He got so much character development, and we see that he really care. I mean, he came all the way to find out about his informant into Westview. But still, I just wonder, who can that be? I don't know. But I will definitely be watching next episode. And if you're watching this video later, go ahead and leave a comment down, and we will unpack this stuff. The next time I'll be here is Wednesday night. What is that? March 3rd. So we're going to be on Wednesday night, March 3rd, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to be talking about the 2nd episode of Superman and Lois, and we're going to be talking about the return of the Flash. So that is all I have, folks, and I will give you the rest of your night back. Thank you for spending time with me. I really appreciate it, and if you want me to continue doing these lives, go ahead and throw a like down there so I'll know that you enjoy it, and we'll come back. Obviously, Wandavision is ending after next week, so I won't be doing any more Wandavision episodes after next Saturday. But we do have Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up, and so my plan is to kind of unpack those as well. Just kind of anything that hits in me that I want to unpack. I'll do it on these live shows. But so that's all I've got. So I appreciate you spending your time, and so thank you, and I'll see you later. All right.